It will do 1.4 million damage a bullet. Hello once again, everyone, and today we have the Thundercage. I do believe the Thundercage is now the best weapon for Gley for a couple reasons. The Thundercage has recently been buffed, and due to those buffs, the Thundercage outputs a mobbing capability that is not capable in any other gun that I have seen, to include Malevolent. Thundercage has been buffed from 200% to 400% on an enemy death. This means that if you kill an enemy, the bullet that you killed an enemy with will do 400% that damage in a radius of 5 meters as electric. This is my current build for Thundercage on Gley. If you are not using Gley, I have a different build. I'll go into the weak point. The Thundercage only has a 1.2 weak point, but you can't really exchange more damage than 40% extra. So we have aiming and weak point sight on the Thundercage. Now this is important on Gley because a sharp precision shot will lower the recoil and allow you to hit those weak points to begin with. The insight focus is basically the best thing I can put on the gun. If you want to put chill attack or extra electric attack on the gun, be my guest. It doesn't really matter too much. For not Gley, this is the loadout that I would use. Yes, I have weak point on there, and I have 2 magazines, and increase the amount of firing Fiesta procs you get per time capita. For any firearm Descendant, it would behoove you to run 2 pieces of Shell Crusher. It does not matter what pieces those are. If you have a power unit that gives you HP, it's better to use that power unit instead of the Shell Crusher, because the Shell Crusher's power unit gives you shield. As far as the Thundercage rolls go, I highly recommend you use the 2 spots that you can for fire rate, because fire rate is the most important stat on guns, because fire rate scales exponentially, not linearly. I know you look at fire rate 18% and you think it gives you 18% more fire rate, but that's actually not the case. It's an inverse graph. You can increase a firearm's fire rate up to 90%, and at that 90%, the firearm will fire 10 times faster. That is the math. I'll make a video about fire rate before Season 3 comes out. As far as the rolls of the gun, you want firearm attack, crit rate, and crit damage. Honestly, the last thing you slot doesn't really matter. The weak point will increase the weak point damage by... The weak point will give you the most damage that you can get, although I prefer to slot a recoil on my roll, just because the gun feels better. You wouldn't think 12% recoil matters, but I definitely feel it. If you're using Gley specifically, this is the arc tuning tree that I have settled on, at least while using the Thundercage. Now, for the Thundercage capabilities. For Legion of Immortality, on the tail end of Sharp Precision Focus, it will do about 275,000 damage a bullet. For Legion of Darkness, it would do about 260,000 damage a bullet. And of course, because Order of Truth have little to no resistance and defense, it will do 1.4 million damage a bullet. This means on a kill with a crit, you will deal 1 million damage to every enemy in the vicinity for every enemy that you kill. This does a ton of damage output on elites whenever you're surrounded by a whole bunch of red enemies, and a ton of damage output in general. If you are bossing, I still highly recommend the Last Dagger for like Greg or one of the boss elites at the end, just simply because it does single point target damage better. In testing on Malevolent, I actually did see that the Thundercage outperforms Malevolent in the majority of cases. As far as a standard build without Gley, you will see a damage decrease of about 30% on the bullets themselves. However, you'll be able to reload your gun. You won't have an issue with magazine size, and you'll be able to proc firing Fiesta. The Thundercage on Serena is just as good as the Last Dagger on Serena for mobbing. So, it would behoove you to still make a Thundercage. The Thundercage just got buffed, so I don't think changes to firearms are coming in Season 3. That's why I'm making this video. And I do think what they are going to do in Season 3 is they're going to make the weapon rolls work for the unique weapons on Descendants. We're all excited for Season 3. Hopefully it will be great. Hopefully there's a ton of content. Hopefully we aren't bored. And hopefully we get to kill many things. I only play this game on live, or if I make a video. Sometimes I make the video on live, but you can catch me a lot on Twitch. If you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. Y'all have a sick day, and peace out.